Good morning to you. I am Mark Sudduth, and here's what's up in the tropics for Thursday, the 25th of August, 2022. A few areas to keep an eye on over the coming days. These two yellow areas, low probabilities of development, but I think the signs are starting to be a little bit more solid now that we're going to see development here before the end of the month. We still have several days to go, and the month of August might not end up being a shutout after all. Looking at the satellite animation, yes, more areas of deeper thunderstorm activity all across the Atlantic Basin. Nothing consolidating and nothing threatening to develop into a depression or a storm within the next couple of days or so, but a marked increase in deeper thunderstorm activity because the Madden-Julian oscillation is now in the Western Hemisphere, so there's more upward motion and deeper thunderstorm activity is the result. Still, a lot of mid-level dry air in the eastern Atlantic, but gradually that is starting to get mixed out, and the models are starting to respond with more activity, especially in the ensembles. And I do believe that it's just a matter of time until things start to get a lot more active than what we have been seeing, and that should carry right on into the month of September. Look at this. This is the tropical system. Well, part of it's tropical anyway. It's down in the tropics, but it formed from some energy and vorticity from a cold surge that came off of South America out of the Amazon. You remember we talked about that a couple of days ago. Well, here it is, a little bit more in the way of shower and thunderstorm activity that is pushing through portions of the central Lesser Antilles today. Weak overall rotation with it, but there is turning. There is some cyclonic turning there. There is this energy, and that's going to move its way across the Caribbean, probably being rather innocuous overall, rather innocent looking until it reaches the Western Caribbean, and then things could start to get interesting from there. That is still several days away, and we will watch this very closely. And look, you can even see it really well here on the precipitable water animation. Look at that turning down there associated with it. Lots of available moisture, and it'll be heading into an area that is climatologically favored in 3 or 4 days or so. Central and Western Caribbean, that area is the hotbed of development pretty much any time during any hurricane season, and I think this is going to have a better chance to develop once it reaches that area again in a few days. Meanwhile, out in the deep tropics, still sort of a very odd pattern. You can see this blue area. That is not the Saharan air layer. That is just this dry air that is getting sort of injected or ejected, more injected I think it is in this case, into the pattern down there, and that gets mixed into these tropical waves that are very large. It's kind of like breathing in toxic air, so to speak. The deeper the breath you take, if you're in a room of toxic air, then the more it will affect you. And these large tropical waves, as they try to pull in that air is drier, and it is coming out of the northeast Atlantic, not necessarily off the coast of Africa and from the Sahara itself, not the Saharan air layer directly involved. And everything's just kind of moving slow. I talked about that yesterday in my hurricane outlook and discussion. Nevertheless, the pattern is gradually shifting. It is becoming more favorable out that way, and I don't think it'll be too long now, maybe the next several days, 5 to 6 days maybe, and then we're going to start to see more development out in the deep tropics, probably closer towards 40 to 50 degrees west longitude rather than right off the coast of Africa, but we'll see. Again, I do believe it is gradually starting to change and become more favorable out that way. And we can see that reflected a little bit here on the GFS. Still a convoluted pattern out there, large monsoon trough, and not a lot of activity coalescing as it comes off of Africa. But this is the operational. The ensembles are a lot more active. I'll show you that in just a moment. Meanwhile, in the Caribbean, our system does scoot across, and at the end of the 5-day time frame, it ends up near Central America. But there's still going to be a lot of energy down in the Western Caribbean, and that could focus and eventually develop into something longer range after the 5-day time frame, something to keep an eye on as we head towards the end of the month. All right, we'll end on the ensemble map. This is from the ECMWF, and this is over the next 10 days, and there's a lot of activity out there. 3 different clusters, and you can clearly see those. 4 if you count the upper level low, and there's a little bit of a reflectivity of that. Some of the ensemble members indicating that that upper level low could in fact try to develop just a little bit and mill around over the north central subtropical Atlantic. So really there could be 4 clusters when all is said and done over the next 10 days. Again, nothing pressing, nothing that we really have to worry about. A lot of potential. We'll see if that potential lives up to anything. That is what I do here, and you can follow along that journey as we watch. All right? As always, thanks for tuning in to What's Up in the Tropics. I am Mark Sudduth. I'll be back with more for you tomorrow morning.